Well, speaking of coming back, I wonder if Keke Palmer will be coming back to her man after her illustrious events in Las Vegas at the Usher show over the past 2 weekends, I believe. Usher has the world in a frenzy. Um, Time and time again, we see Usher at his Las Vegas residence performing his concerts and approaching women with husbands or with men and singing to them and seeing how these women react. So it's all across the timelines. Everyone's talking about it, everyone's discussing it. This whole Keke Palmer situation. So why not dive into it? So what are your thoughts on this whole Keke Palmer and Darius, the tweeter?
So it's actually funny. Like when I seen the name Darius, I kind of laughed a little, only because not at his name, but because in one of my books, actually, I have a character in there named
No,
Darius.
Darius,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a very shameless plug, but I don't care. Let's do it. And the thing is this, right? I think this incident, I think, is a perfect example of everything that's wrong, I think, with modern intersexual dynamics between men and women in this day and age, right?
Mhm.
The idea that a guy is openly communicating a boundary that he has, saying that he finds something to be inappropriate, and immediately he's being met with anger. They're making fun of him, saying, "Oh, well, she gets the money, so you got to be quiet and take it." But
Funny
that
how that
same
works.
But then let's just say now a dude has money and he's doing stuff with other women and they say, well, he has money, just be there, just sit there and take it. That's misogynistic. That's you're being this. Like it's a double standard, right? That we know and exists in society. In
Yeah.
this modern day and age, right? Women have the luxury that if they want to be career women boss babes, they can do that. But if they want to be stay-at-home wives, they could do that and they'll never be judged.
Right.
But a guy does not have the luxury of being a stay-at-home husband without being met with ridicule and mockery. So to me, it's a perfect representation of everything that's wrong with the modern dynamics today. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. Because really and truly, what we see here, and it's funny how social media works, because we get to see these back and forths um, between people choosing Keke Palmer's side and very little people on Darius's side, right? Of course, at the end of the day, you should keep your life private, right? But the realm we live in, the world we live in, that's damn near impossible, right? And him being with someone like Keke Palmer, that's everyone knows Keke Palmer. Like she was in the hit movie that came out not too long ago, Nope, right? So her coming off of that and her just having a kid and her bouncing back into shape, of course she has a bunch of cheerleaders behind her, right? So unfortunately, from Darius's point of view, he was never going to win that battle, right? Going to
No.
social media is a women driven environment, and of course, or I feel like content and social realm is a woman driven environment, and him trying to garner up any reinforcements or any support on his side, it was just gonna fall short at the end of the day, and it led to him what he disabled his Twitter, right? So at the end of the day, it's unfortunate what he had to go through, um, and the times we live in, like we said, like it's a double standard. Women can choose to live whatever life they choose to live, and at the end of the day, men just got to be the providers and support the cause and try to be fathers at the end of the day. So that's my political response to this situation.
Yeah, fair enough, bro. Don't get yourself canceled, bro. It's not, but like honestly, social media is a very I don't know if it's just social media, like it's just weird. because Instagram, the posts are like meant to be optimistic, but if you look at the comments, it's just nastiness.
Yeah,
Like just
and
people,
they only show you the pessimistic stuff. Yeah.
yeah, like just people spewing like pessimism and negativity, right? And I seen it firsthand on Twitter. It's actually hilarious to me because I remember some page NBA Central, they posted the video of Draymond Green rocking Jordan Poole.
Hmm.
And everyone was like in the comments saying Jordan Poole is some kind of victim. But I said, yo, the dude deserved it,
Right.
right? Because if you watch the full clip, he pushed Draymond first,
Yeah.
and then Draymond snuffed him back.
Right.
Once you push someone, you have initiated the fight.
Right.
And then, bro, literally, I got hundreds of people replying to that attack.
Wow, eh? You went
Yeah, bro.
viral.
It was a very, I wouldn't even say viral, it was a very small moment, but even his
Yeah.
former NBA player, Eddie Johnson, like he got at me for it,
Wow.
right? And then I released another video afterwards and I showed proof what I was talking about. And here's even further more proof.
Hmm.
If you look at what the Warriors did, who did they keep? Who did they get rid of?
Yeah.
So that
Jordan
tells
Poole's
you
in
who was
Washington. Yeah,
so
for a
that tells
reason.
you who was right and who was wrong. But I
Yeah.
say all that to say just how nasty and ridiculous people on the internet are that they
Hmm.
would come at this dude Darius just for simply upholding a boundary.
Yeah.
And what did he say that's so bad? He just said, like, listen, you're a mother, you're a wife, you shouldn't be parading out there like that. And now it's like you're trying to control what women wear, you're trying to control
Hmm.
her, blah, blah, blah. But let's just say the shoe was on the other foot. Let's
Hmm.
just say he had a wife and kid at home, and then he's out there on like he's out there on yachts, popping
Hmm.
champagne, throwing money,
Yeah.
behaving.
Shirt off, shoddy and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would people say? Oh, you have a wife and kid at home. What are you doing?
Hmm.
Like, let's just say he's on a like he's showing himself on a boat full of women dancing in their thongs, like twerking it up.
Yeah.
Right? People would comment, you have a wife and kid at home. What are you doing all
Hmm.
that for? Are you having a midlife crisis? Blah, blah, blah. They'd comment.
Right. Right.
But when the shoe's on the other foot, now suddenly you don't like it. Like, so to me, it's just a double standard.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Because not too long ago there was a clip of Chance the Rapper, right, that was seen at a I believe it was a carnival, maybe in Trinidad, and he was, I guess, within the culture, like bubbling is a thing, right? And he was up bubbling and dancing with girls that wasn't his wife, and they killed him for it, right? But again, he's Chance the Rapper, and the culture is the culture where you go there, you dance, and you have fun, and they killed him for that, right? So now, like, what are we doing? There's women gonna kill him for that. And but now if Keke Palmer's at the Usher show turning around, twirling with her see-through outfit, we're not killing her, we're killing the man that's just saying something that's realistic for a man seeing his wife and his the mother to his child out and about dancing around and him just saying something that you would say probably in private one on one for him just to tweet it, he gets ridiculed for that. I just don't think that's right, really and truly at the end of the day, right? And again, it's a double standard, and it's just I feel like women don't like the idea of reality, right? If someone is going to address something in a realistic matter, they just ignore it and they create their own narrative to address it how they see it. They
Yeah.
don't only look at the other side. They just look at the one side and support it to the death. And that's not how it should be at the end of the day, right? You got to look at the general aspect of the situation. She's out and about. She's wearing literally nothing or a very see-through or very lustful outfit, right? She's twirling around. Of course, she's probably drinking, like, she's having a good time. But again, there's a proper way to behave as a mother and an older woman, right? In the public eye, right? And again, I feel some people put Usher at blame, but again, Usher is a performer. He's a showman. That's what he does. He does it time and time again. It's not something he's doing that's new. There's nothing different from what Usher's doing to what Megan or Cardi or these other artists do or Shensia does when they bring up a fan to the stage and they dance up on them, right? So at the end of the day, it's just crazy to think that one could shift the narrative so much when it's just a simple equation at the end of the day.
Yeah, and to be honest, and I think this dude, I think the only blame I'll really give him is that he should have known that you don't go with someone who's in the entertainment industry because
Yeah.
this is the kind of stuff that's going to come with it, right?
Especially
And
from his position. Like if this
yeah,
was offset, like and he does that tweet, he doesn't get ridiculed like this because he's offset. You know what I mean? Like when Offset just recently called out Cardi for cheating, right? They're not saying anything to Offset. Cardi actually has to go about and defend herself, right? Because Offset is a person of status and power. Who's Darius?
and that's exactly right because as soon as he said something, what immediately what was the default insult? You're just a listen, stay at home and watch the kids and shut your mouth,
Yeah.
right? So that's so it's so interesting how to me like you hear women say this a lot like, oh, to me, like I don't care about a man's money, I just care about love, right? But then as soon as a situation like this happens, you immediately insult him for money or lack thereof, right?
Hmm.
So I just learned with them, like just watch their actions, not their words.
Right.
Because they'll say stuff like, oh, I want a man, who'll open up to me and be vulnerable.
Yeah.
In that moment, he opened up and showed a vulnerability. What did he get
Yeah.
mad?
Yeah.
So they don't want that. They don't care for that. So that's why
Yeah.
you don't do it. And with him, it's going to be very difficult to find that traditional type of woman. It's not impossible. It's just going to be difficult.
Yeah.
So don't look in Hollywood. Don't look to Hollywood for that.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Uh, the fact that freedom of speech has extended to the social media platform, and then they just be saying whatever, and they don't even know what they really be saying at the end of the day. Just say it just to say it. And again, like we say, content over everything. Everyone is looking at ways to garner attention, and everyone's looking at a way to have a viral moment or garner conversation or build up a moment for a podcast or for their own um personal wealth or personal attention or personal um attraction as a public figure because everyone sees themselves almost as a public figure, and that's why they choose to speak on all these things just to speak on it, right? Whether it's on Twitter thread or spill, they're going to find a way to just speak and talk and just say things even though the actions don't follow what they're
It's
saying.
true. And we're like overly connected. And here's the funny thing too, like what Jonah was it his girl or his ex girl? I don't know, but she starts
Jonah
with
Hill.
Jonah Hill, yeah, the actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's his girl or his ex girl, but she wanted to use this moment to piggyback and get some clout of her own.
Hmm.
And then she starts clout chasing by posting screenshots saying that, oh, he was mentally and emotionally abusive to me. And when you read the text, all he says is, here are my boundaries. If you want to be in a relationship with me, this is what I require. If not, then we don't have to be together. It looked like a very simple, pleasant conversation. I didn't see any manipulation or anything, but
Hmm.
it's just that now, like, if you communicate boundaries, as a man, or you just have certain standards that you hold a woman to,
Right.
that makes you, you know, you have mother issues, you hate women, you're insecure, right? All these like insults and like language that they'll use to shame men. But if women have those same standards, well, hey, that's just her being a queen. And for her to be a queen, she is allowed to have standards for a king. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very strange, it's very odd. And that's why I try to like reduce social media as much as possible.
Yeah, because
It's too
it'll
much.
definitely stir your thoughts on the opposite sex in a negative light because they may say things or perceive themselves through the social media as one person, and then you may see them in person or yeah, and not in reality, and then it's you don't really know who that person is. or you might meet them in reality, and then you see their social media, and then you're like, wait, who actually is this person? And that's scary, right? Because you can now they have two sides to them. Who's really the real person?
Yeah. And honestly, like for dudes that are with someone, even topics like this, it's good to avoid talking about it with your girl only because like you might be unpleasantly surprised to find what side of the fence that she's on. So it kind of goes back to what
Mhm.
you're saying about how much you really know a person, right?
Yeah,
Like she might actually agree with certain things that you don't necessarily agree with, and that can create friction and
tension. Yeah.
negativity and tension, right?
Hmm.
And then now you guys, like you said, you guys are looking at each other sideways, like, oh, are you not really the person I think you are?
Right.
So it's tricky because on one hand, you do want to get to know the person, you want to know their views and stance on things. But on the other hand, you don't want to introduce unnecessary drama, right? Because I think a lot of times guys they think this way,
Hmm.
but because they're in relationships, they sometimes they fold and then they might completely sing a different tune even though they actually agree.
Right.
So it's interesting to see.
Yeah, interesting times we're living in for sure, man. Like, so it's just again, it's the talk of the town, and it's something we definitely had to cover uh as a podcast, but it's just crazy to see what is filling up the timelines right now.